Hi, this is Abdulaziz Khan. I hope you all should be fine. Today, I just thought to make a different kind of video. Generally, I made video of technical things. Today, I just thought that okay, why not? I should go and check some newspapers and because we are going through this pandemic of COVID-19. But as we generally we talk and we say that media is one of the pandemics that we are seeing from maybe the last centuries. So I just thought that why not I check some media and share um, my feedback. So let's start with this CNN.com. So when I was checking some of the newspapers, I felt very strange. I mean, how this media is portraying things about one and another. I mean, if you see, we start from the CNN and here you see the main news. The main news is still about China and Wuhan. As we all know that Trump has very strong rhetoric against China. So the US main newspapers, they are also tooting the same story. I mean, okay, Wuhan has started or not started or what happened. I mean, but still after 2 3 months of this, still US is more interested in blaming China than helping its own people to get rid of this virus. So we start here, we find that again China, Russia, and then they are a bit concerned about the restaurant owners as well. I mean, so they have some other concerns as well, but their main concern is still outside USA. Now, even in the live update, if you see 8,000 quarantine over new China cluster. First death in Nepal. And at the last, you see in the last, I mean, US records 25,000 new cases. So, I mean, 8,000 quarantined in China. They think that this is a bigger news. They should tell it first. And 25,000 new cases in US. They put it after. I mean, because generally, people they read they start things only, and every person he don't go and he don't read it fully. So they put their own things at the last, and the Chinese thing is always first. They are not. They are not. They don't care about the numbers. I mean, this is 25,000 new cases, and these are 8,000 cases. But they put 25,000 later, and 8,000 was put first. So if we read this CNN.com, we found that very less news about US. They are more interested in everyone else. So, like US relies on India for generic drug, but China controls that supply chain. So here also, China is in the mind of US. Maybe all the US policies are somehow being made by China because China know that how to because whatever China says they start doing something opposite to it. When you know someone that okay how he's reacting to you, then you can easily control him. So this guy Trump, he's only interested in China. So and Chinese are intelligent people, so they are using this. Uh, they are using this behavior of Trump, and they are indirectly trying to control US through this guy. So after that, when we go to now, I mean, we switch from US to China. I mean, this is the biggest China's news agency, Xinhua. So now, when we see China, we see a very, very different face of China. I mean, it's 100 times opposite. US is saying that China is the reason of all bad. But here, if you read that, Chinese medical experts provide guidance to Chinese companies. So China is providing guidance. She chairs leadership meeting to discuss draft government work report. She calls for international support for Africa. So China is supporting Africa. China is supporting everyone in this. And China is reporting some of the cases. China's Chile reports 2 new COVID-19 cases. So China is reporting its own cases. China is reporting cases in Turkey as well. That's fine. And here you can see that Chinese now this Mount Komolangama. So Chinese saying that world is enjoying. I mean, people are going to summit the mountains and people are doing every good thing. But if you see the American papers, you will find that maybe nothing is going on. Only China is doing everything bad. So China fight against novel corona. So China on Chinese newspapers, China is fighting against corona. And on Italy's US newspapers, China is the main reason of all bad things. So this is how, uh, like here, if you see 8 COVID patient discharged, so good news for COVID. Chinese media reports 5 new cases. So now, if you see the how they build the news, I mean, 8 patients discharged and only 5 patients. So they are showing that we are discharging more people than the people who are getting coronavirus. So it's a positive way of showing things. 85% of Chinese medical service resumed. So 85% they have resumed everything. So this is how, I mean, China is portraying that we are doing everything in the right direction. Now, but when it comes to US, China has a bad story of US. China says the US chose JC Penney files for bankruptcy due to pandemic. So, I mean, not directly or not in a bad way, but at least, I mean, China also, when it came back to US, they came with a negative news. So this is how the this is how you play the media war. I mean that whatever you focused, you try to show that you are the best. Now here we see the Chinese women's national football team is attending sessions, so they are in the ground, they are running, they are enjoying life, they are not in any lockdown position. So China says that China is open, China is enjoying its life, and whatever US is doing, it does not make any big trouble to China. So let's see BBC as well, what BBC says. So BBC also has one biggest news is against the US. The main news is about US, that US Democrats probe Trump's firing of the watchdog. Okay, but Italy restriction easing, how coronavirus is driving a revolution. So here BBC is also not interested to tell that whatever is going on inside British, Because what we listen from other sources that the problem is quite aggravated in Britain as well, but it does not look like here. They are more interested to tell you that Democrats are probing Trump's firing of a watchdog, and here Sweden is enjoying life. No corona threat in Sweden. Very good. Here again the same story that was in Chinese newspaper as well. JCPenney files for bankruptcy. But the beautiful thing that we don't find this in the US newspaper. So generally, if you see BBC, you will also again find that things are not bad. Coronavirus is changing things. It's changing technology, and it's like, for example, how lockdown is helping bees. So this lockdown is good for the nature. Uh, Maybe it's good for the human, but for the nature, it's not good for human, but for nature, it's something really good. So even in the lockdown, the people who don't get alcohol, they are getting some problems. So coronavirus may never go away, WHO warns. Car industry, how it can recover, we can only hope for it. England eases lockdown rules. One only story about England, and that is also about easing the lockdown. They are not, they don't want to show here because I can read Urdu as well. So about Pakistan, they are telling that in Pakistan there are people dying of corona, but in this whole, they did not show that what kind of problems the British people are having because of corona. I'm just checking the main page. I know that they should have put it something inside as well. I mean, it's not that I mean they should not have put the news, but you know how you put on which pages. Generally, people they don't have a lot of time. They check your main page only, and they don't check all of your pages. So on the main page, we find that corona is only not very much. I mean, we don't see that a lot of issue. There's any issue of corona in British. There's some issue somewhere, but they are easing things like in Italy and in other places in Manchester. There is some revolution is being coming because of this corona, but they're not showing that anything bad is happening. Spain has so many flats. I mean, so Spain is getting popular for corona, but they are not interested to tell you that Spain is having some problem of corona. They're more interested to tell you that Spain has so many flats. What is the reason of that? So, like we can see that the newspapers which are from the area, they are generally, like we see in this Chinese, they are showing the good part of China, and they are showing a kind of bad part of other country. Like BBC, no bad news about England. Like I was telling you this JC Penney story on this, which is on the main page of Xinhua, main page of BBC. And when I write JC, there is the word JC Penny is not mentioned on their main page. So if we just try to search it, so even in the search, we don't find that JCPenney is having any problem. So JCPenney ends clearance sale, which is a good news. And these are very old news, 2012. The best President Day sale. So JCPenney did a best President Day sale. So this news is on the Chinese news agency. They have put it very big. BBC also has this news here, JCPenney, but CNN don't know about it. For CNN, there is no problem in JCPenney. JCPenney is working really fine. So let me just show you one last newspaper agency. This is Al Jazeera. They are a kind of different from these three because they are from Gulf. So if we see Al Jazeera as well, Brazil surpasses Spain. Okay, so it means it's going from Europe to South America, and the same US story, because we know that Al Jazeera is also not a good follower of US. Coronavirus exposed the real reason behind France burqa ban. So Al Jazeera still thinks that coronavirus has something to do with because of the burqa ban in France. Asylum seeker doctor prepares for coronavirus on US-Mexico border. So if you want to go to US, first be prepared for corona. So again in Al Jazeera, we don't find any big news about the Gulf. So Al Jazeera is interested in everywhere else, but they are not interested in the Gulf. So, like I was mentioning, that we are going through a pandemic, but this media pandemic, which is we are going through since many years, it's we can say that it's more dangerous than any other pandemic because there's they it feels it feels not good. It feels a bit bad. Media should not take sides. Media should be open, and like we see some very stunning things, like for example these two. I can just search it here as well about JC Penny. Okay, it's not on Al Jazeera as well. Mm, okay, Al Jazeera has no news of JC Penny. So Al Jazeera and CNN, maybe they got some of the news from the same sources, and maybe BBC and Shinhua, they get their news from some different source. But very it looks very much astonishing that like BBC is very respected kind of news agency. Generally they put something with very good investigation. But they have a news which is not on the US news agency. The news is about US and US don't know it. And when we see US news agency, they are still more interested to know that what China is doing. And when we see China, we see a very bright picture of China. China helping everyone. China is doing everything in very normal ways, and they are not doing anything wrong. They are trying to put everything good. So, how much contrast we find that in this news is at this time, even when we are going through a very different and difficult time of our lives. But still, the media war is the same. I mean, people in media, they are, maybe I will say that they are not interested that who gets COVID-19, who lives, who dies. They are still fighting the war that they are used to fight in the good time and bad time and every time. I mean, so I hope you should like this different kind of video from me. So hopefully we will meet again with some other video. Okay, bye.